everyone. What is going on? Raven here. Welcome back. It is the day before Christmas Eve, and I decided to do things a little bit differently this year. Now, before, I think like last year, 2 years ago or something like that, it's been a long time now, I actually did videos on different holidays around this time of year. So like I talked about, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, things of that nature. But today, I want to talk about Christmas traditions that are actually from pagan customs. So, some of these pagan traditions have become associated with Christmas, like gift giving, image of Santa Claus, Christmas stockings, Christmas caroling, decking the halls with holly, and decorating Christmas trees. So first we can get into who were the pagans. First things first, what do we mean when we say pagan? This is a term that is sweeping around the internet and things like that. So this is from the Romans to the Norse in Scandinavia. As Christianity spread through Europe in the early ADs, missionaries got to know a lot of different groups of people with varying religions, systems, and beliefs. All these people and religions were lumped into the catch-all term of pagan. Although Christians had the goal of spreading their religion across Europe, they were still quite fascinated by many of the customs and ways of the pagans. They were fascinated enough to pick up a few of those beliefs and traditions and adapt them as part of the Christmas celebration. Now, keep reading, or I'm going to keep telling you, that Christmas is inspired by traditions from the Romans, Celtics, Norse, Druids, and more all pagan. At the time, all these different groups shared one big celebration that just happened to fall around Christmas time, or as what should be known as the winter solstice. People living in the northern hemisphere celebrated winter solstice for the shortest day of the year, smack bang in the middle of December, and this is why Christmas just so happened to fall around the same time as many existing pagan holidays. The winter solstice was a huge part of pagan life. As they were primarily agricultural people, winter marked the end of the year's harvest and the chance to enjoy the company of loved ones and rest from toiling the fields. Pagans could stop farming through the winter and instead devote themselves to worshiping the various gods and celebrating with those around them. As winter in the northern hemisphere tends to be a dark, cold, and hungry period of time, the winter solstice was celebrated to help keep people entertained and enjoying themselves until the sun rolled around again. So now that we have an idea on background, let's take a look at some of the traditions that are associated with Christmas. Number 1 is gift giving and Saturnalia. Not only is December a time to celebrate winter solstice, but between the 17th and 24th of the month, the Romans also celebrated Saturnalia. This was a pagan holiday in honor of the agricultural god Saturn. Romans would spend the week of Saturnalia much like how we spend Christmas holidays today, like feasting, drinking, gift-giving, being joyful, decorating Christmas trees, etc. These days we fork out lots of money in Christmas gifts, but back then the Romans exchanged small gifts for the sake of good luck. The idea was to give a gift in the hope of bringing in a bountiful harvest for the next year. Rather than have a huge list of gifts to give, the Romans also shared only one gift with one other person. Somewhere along the line, giving gifts for luck and prosperity became a multi-million-dollar business. Number 2, Santa's image and Christmas stockings. Our current modern-day image of Santa Claus, clad in red fur with a big white beard, was largely devoted to Coca-Cola in the 1930s. But the idea of an old man giving gifts to children dates much earlier than that, back to the time of the pagans. Father Christmas, otherwise known as Saint Nicholas, was a patron saint of children, the poor, and prostitutes. Living around the 4th century AD, Saint Nicholas was a generous bishop who was known for giving gifts to the poor, sporting a big beard and a long cloak much like the Santa we know and love today. But even before Saint Nicholas, there was another bearded old man called Odin. This deity was worshipped by early German pagan tribes, traditionally portrayed as an old man with a long white beard with an 8-legged horse called Sleipnir. And I apologize to any pagans out there if I butchered that name. Sleipnir? Who he would ride through the skies, just like Santa's reindeer. During the winter, kids would fill their booties with carrots and straw and leave them by the chimney for Sleipnir to feed on. Odin would fly by and reward the children with little presents in their booties, much like we do with Christmas stockings today. The Santa Claus we imagine all in our heads today is a mismatch of generous Saint Nick, the god Odin, and Sleipnir, and Coca-Cola's iconic red dress character. Next is Christmas carols. While the carols we sing for Christmas are undeniably Christian, the tradition itself of going to door to door singing to your neighbors comes from another pagan tradition called wassailing. was sailing. I'm sorry again to any pagans out there that watch my channel. I'm butchering everything for you. I'm sorry. The rather funny word comes from the Anglo-Saxon phrase of ways hail, translating to good health. Every year, West sailors would roam through their villages in small groups, singing loudly with the aim of banishing evil spirits and wishing good health to those around them. No West sailing group was complete without the traditional drink on hand, made from mulled ale, curdled cream, roasted apples, eggs, spices, and sugar. In the 13th century, St. Francis took inspiration from these happy choirs and started the tradition of Christmas caroling. Kissing under the mistletoe. Ever wonder about the correlation between mistletoe and kissing? Well, funnily enough, the tradition goes all the way back to the pagans. Everyone from the Romans and Celts to the Druids and the Norse had a thing about mistletoe. It was considered to be a highly sacred plant, involved in several pagan rituals. In the Roman world, mistletoe honored the god Saturn. To keep him happy, they would perform fertility rituals underneath sprigs of mistletoe. And yes, that's exactly what it sounds like. We've certainly toned it down as far as mistletoes are concerned and left it with just a simple kiss. Probably a good idea since family is always around. In the world of the Druids, mistletoe symbolizes peace and joy. In times of war, if enemies were to meet death underneath woodland mistletoe, then they would drop their weapons and form a truce until the next day. In a way, kissing is a form of truce. FYI, if any of you do have pets, especially cats, mistletoe is actually toxic to them, so keep that. Next up, we have decking the halls with holly. Mistletoe wasn't the only sacred plant for pagans. Holly was another holy plant connected with the god Saturn. During the Saturnalia holiday, Romans made holy wreaths to exchange as gifts for good luck. At the time of Saturnalia, early Christians began to celebrate Christmas. However, they are often persecuted for practicing a new religion. It was lucky that Christmas coincided with Saturnalia as it allowed Christians to harbor a cover for their Christmas celebrations. To avoid detection and make it look like they're celebrating Saturnalia, Christians started hanging holy wreaths around their homes. This allowed them to recognize other Christians and still do something nice to celebrate their sacred holiday. Eventually, pagans decreased. Holly became a symbol of Christmas instead of Saturnalia. Christmas tree decorating. We sure have taken a lot of inspiration from the Romans, and tree decorating is just another borrowed tradition. Besides feasting, drinking, exchanging gifts during Saturnalia, Romans also hung small metal ornaments on trees outside their homes. Each of these little ornaments represent a god, either Saturn or a family's personal patron saint. Early Germanic tribes practiced a similar tree decorating tradition, this time with fruits and candles to honor the god Odin throughout winter solstice. Christians seem to have merged with the tree decorating with ornaments, candles, and fruits to make Christmas tree decorating one extravagant tradition. I will be doing a little pagan culture video coming up soon. It's going to be called The Pagan Origins of Easter. I will be doing that as well. What do you guys think of this video today? Did you know that a lot of customs from Christmas actually came from pagan? They came from the Romans, they came from the Druids, they came from all these different things. Now, this is something I did not know. So this is something I'm actually learning pretty much for the first time, and I am 31 years old. It took me until today, years old, for me to realize that a lot of this came from pagan. I'm not saying anything about religion. Whatever you guys want to believe in, that is totally your choice, as long as you're not hurting somebody else, right? That being said, we're not going to talk about religion. We're just talking about traditions that came from other customs, like Roman customs and Druid customs, pagan customs. This is all just everyone just kind of sharing traditions, okay? Any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave them in the comment section down below. If you did like today's video, make sure you leave a like on the video, and please subscribe to my channel. It shows you guys are actually, supporting me as a content creator, and it will help me continue to keep doing this pretty much daily, as I've been doing for a long time now. And I will see you all in my next video. Goodbye!